Let's talk about Dune, the newest sci-fi sensation that's sweeping the nation that is also not new, but still super cool. So first things, just no spoilers. I'm not going to talk spoilers here. Go and see it for yourself, but maybe I'll sell you on why I think maybe you should see it, because I really like Dune. Big surprise. Here's some context. As a teenager, I got really into the 80s flick just because I thought I was edgy and weird. I started reading the first book, but also, once again, like a crappy teenager, I kind of dropped off from that. But it's kind of fizzled from my memory. I didn't really embrace it like I embraced other sci-fi universes. Still, I really like it, but I was going into this movie looking for like a new explanation, a new take on it, and what I got so far is pretty cool. So what I like that it does, first and foremost, is that it does feel like it's presenting the whole Dune thing, the lore, the books, or really book one technically, to a mainstream audience, and not just trying to remake like the older movie or anything like that. I know that was probably the director and the filmmaker's intentions. They probably went on record about that, but still, in terms of me watching it, reacting to it, it feels like anybody can just watch this movie and get engulfed into this universe for the first time. Now, is there a lot of exposition? Yes, but I think it's handled in a way like way better than some movies. So many movies like stumble through explaining so much stuff, and I think Dune handles a lot of it pretty well, considering some of it is so high concept and weird. They managed to get it all pretty across front and center, from some of the more fantastical elements to the military to the political elements. Some of it really just kind of goes, and it's nice. But whatever about all that, for me, I think it's more of like the experience of seeing it. Like, it's a vibe. I hate to be like, I'm gonna be that guy. I apologize, but I do think that Dune is very much best experienced in a theater. The experience in the theater was downright incredible. Now, it's available on HBO Max, and I know some people are going to pirate it. I know not everybody can go to a theater safely or don't have any money. Yes, whatever. But having that big ass screen and having the movie like yell at you just really amps it up. I think it really sells it, because visually it is downright incredible, and to see it on like something like an IMAX screen, if you have that available, is out of this world. But also the sound is top notch. The music, the effects of some of the things going on. Some of it is just bone chilling, and ooh, like just remembering some of it, I can't wait to see it again. But I think that's part of what sells this, because that experience is so worth experiencing. On the other hand, what you're getting here is kind of a setup movie. As we now know, and it is now, of course, confirmed today, they have greenlit a Dune Part 2. This is Part 1. It says it right at the start of the movie. And this very much feels like a Part 1. It literally feels like the appetizer. It literally feels like, you know, just the start of like looking at Mount Doom and saying it's all the way over there, in terms of just like what this movie gave you. So there are a lot of people saying that, like, and maybe they've never seen the originals or read the books or anything, they are saying it is the next big sci-fi epic. It is the next thing to make people go crazy, like a Star Wars or whatever. I say relax on that. I even think like some of the people thinking this is the most amazing masterpiece, I think relax on that, because as far as I'm concerned, it's not finished. It doesn't even feel like it's close to it. That also comes with the Dune book stuff, where Dune Part 1 and 2 of this is really only the first book, and then there's so much after that, and the first book really just feels more than anything like the beginning. But wow, like, we're really only just getting started here. And for me, that left me a little like, all right, wow, amazing experience, absolutely beautiful. That was like the tutorial mission. We now know how to play the game. Now let's go forward and play it. And then suddenly the TV is unplugged and you have to plug it back in 3 years from now when the sequel comes out. That's fine. I think why this is also blowing up, and why I found it refreshing also too, is just a big old blockbuster movie that's weird, it's slow, it takes a long time for a lot of things. It's just gorgeous. It does some wacky things. Like, it's just like a weird, big, expensive movie. And like, it doesn't feel like we have those as much anymore, because so many movies now that have big, massive, huge budgets follow formulas. I am guilty of loving MCU movies. I eat it all up like a piggy. But I can tell you that a lot of the times they are still a little predictable, a little bit, you know, in a framework, where Dune is, at its core, a blockbuster movie, but It's a wild one. It's got big players. It's got Jason Momoa, who I really like his Duncan, Idaho here. Really loved it. It's got Oscar Isaac looking incredible more than ever. There's actually a part in the movie, no spoilers, but there's a part where he's standing on a balcony with binoculars, surveying something and like kind of explaining things out loud. And I was like, that's our Solid Snake. I can do that. That's fine. You got Zendaya, you got Timothée Chalamet, who I always thought was like kind of like the it actor. I've only seen him in a couple of things. I think he is really good. But here, I'm starting to understand his appeal, and I kind of like him as a Paul Atreides. He kind of fits that mold. Zendaya's in it for like 5 minutes. And Josh Brolin in a cool, smaller role. I really liked what they did here with him. I've been a fan of Josh Brolin for, you know, a while. I've been watching him in movies for years and years now, but for some reason, I guess this is the first movie I've seen him in post Endgame, maybe? Because as soon as he spoke in this movie, my brain was just like, Thanos, Thanos, Thanos. Is that just me? Am I crazy? But like, you have all these big famous actors, but then you have like weird stuff going on in the background. You have weird cultural sci-fi stuff, some gross things here and there. I hope the second movie goes in on the grossness and the weirdness. You know, I think the older movie in the 80s was iconic for a lot of people, specifically just because of how strange and weird it was. That, of course, is because of some of the director's vision, but I would like to see a little bit more of that stuff embraced. You get hints of it here that I won't spoil, but just go all in on that. I think they're gonna, and I'm looking forward to that. That's part of the reason why I'm excited for the sequel. I think it was kind of wild for them to like put this out and then kind of play coy with a part 2 at first. Granted, I'm happy that now it's officially, what is it? It's greenlit. October 20th, 2023. Let's see. I'm assuming that they rounded up all those actors again, those big expensive actors with a bunch of schedules. So that's impressive. But I can't wait to see where it goes, or really as someone who kind of roughly knows where it goes, I can't wait to see how it goes. I also can't wait to see other people experience seeing how it goes. I just think that this was a blast in terms of just having a big movie screen yell at you, some cool battle scenes, some atmospheric, moody scenes, some intrigue, some mystery, some creative sci-fi. Actually creative sci-fi, good shit. Granted, this is like another version of an old sci-fi book that has already had successful-ish movies in the past, but you know, we've had so many attempts at creating unique sci-fi throughout the years. You know, I'm looking at stuff like Jupiter's Legacy, which I didn't think was the worst thing in the world, but still, like, we've tried so many times in games, too, to build these new fantastical sci-fi universes. And what we have here now is a retelling of one, a re-presentation of one for modern audiences, but in a way that doesn't feel cynical and money grabbing and just like, here you go, you idiots, lap it up. Here's a remake. This to me feels like the people making it were like, Dune is sick. Let's present it for modern audiences. We got to get it back out there. And you know what? Hell yeah. Because really, in the reality of it, like where this movie was and just like what it set up, it's all pretty humble. It's all pretty small scale. Things are only going to get bigger and crazier and hopefully wackier. It's really hard not to get into spoilers with some of this stuff, but really let's just say I really like how they presented some of the more fantastical elements here. Some of the abilities that certain characters can have. I really like the way the movie not only explained them, but also portrayed them through sound and editing and stuff like that. I just thought it was really well done, and it's gonna amp up in the next one, so I'm pretty excited. Again, I am that insufferable person, see it in the theater. I apologize for that. But I think that it's nice to kind of have that experience again, like a rally, you know? But I think this makes for an interesting conversation. I want to hear from you guys, what you think, specifically a couple of groups of you. I am like the casual Dune fan. If you're like me, what are you thinking? Maybe you're a hardcore Dune fan, read the books a million times. What the hell are you thinking? Are you cool with this? And if you've never seen Dune or heard of Dune anything before and you watch this, I would love to know what you think. What is your perspective? I've seen some people, like I said, think it's the next best thing, fall in love with it. It's so cool to see. I've also seen some people say that it's absolutely boring. Maybe they watched it on their iPhone, on a train. I don't know, that'll do that. I watched Godzilla, King of the Monsters on an airplane. I thought it was bad. If I watched that movie in the movie theater, I would have probably thought it was the best movie ever. I don't know. Everything is subjective. Nothing matters. I'm Jake Baldino. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe because video games. Pizza's on me.